I will call to order the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners meeting on this 15th day of June of 2026. If you would, please stand, join us for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. The agenda is approved. Moving on to the consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consent agenda is approved. Now we'll go on to the public hearing. Andrew, for Mirror Lake Road.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Good morning.
This first public hearing is for a proposed order to permanently close a portion of Mirror Lake Road. This comes after a small dam failure several years ago along Mirror Lake Road at the dam. This proposed order comes after the resolution of intent to hold this public hearing that y'all had on May 18th. All affected property owners along Mirror Lake Road were notified via certified mail, and this was advertised 3 times in the legal section of the Lincoln Times News over the past month. This would remove the right-of-way designation between the 2 areas of state maintenance, which ends just to the east and west of the dam itself. And there is a map included as part of this packet on the very last page that shows specifically where that is. Are there any questions by any member of the board before the public hearing?
Anybody have any questions? All right. I will open the public hearing concerning the permanent closing portion of Mirror Lake Road. And we have one person signed up to speak. Greg?
Good morning.
Good morning. If you would state your name and address.
Greg McCaslin, 1554 Mirror Lake Road. Okay, so I'm the person that's purchasing all the land in that area, the lake, all the existing. So here's our situation. The owner lacked in the maintenance ability of it. So some of the neighboring people of the lake artificially raised the pipe, causing it to breach the dam, getting the state involved. So now the DEQ is in control of it. So they're giving us 3 options. We can eliminate the dam under their supervision. We can lower it to the dam to 24 feet maximum height. And it's about 31 feet now because the lake is now in high hazard. So it basically might as well be Lake Norman. And so they're giving us time to get through all this process in the sense that they will start implementing fines if there's, because it's a safety risk downstream to the old Hardin Road area. So we're asking, which we don't know how it got a right-of-way because we can't find where the state, they say they've never had a right-of-way or any reason that it was their property. So they're totally out. This is the DOT I'm speaking of. This is the DEQ that's pressing to fix it. So until we get this, we can't combine the land back together with a right-of-way sticking through it. Because the spillway's one parcel, the lake is a different parcel. So we've got to redesign all that. So we're asking to get the right-of-way gone so that we can recombine that. Andrew and all those folks up there is working with us to recombine the land so that we can submit the state for a permit to downsize it and try to save what we can, which is the max 50 acre feet of water. The lake was designed to be about 9 acres. They'll give about 4.5, or the lake has to be taken out. That's basically where we are. So we've got the conceptual drawings, but we have to complete this before we can submit for a permit for repair. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, got a question for you.
So you're in favor or opposed to us?
Oh, we need to close it. We
Okay,
need to
all right.
abandon the road
Just
or
wanna
we
make su-
can't move forward.
I just want to make sure we're
Yeah.
all on the same page.
Oh, yeah, we got to get rid of that part because the landowner is strapped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to do something that was going to alter you
No,
adversely.
we're just trying to save what we can of it, is what I'm after.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, having no one else signed up to speak, I will declare the public hearing closed. And I will entertain a motion to adopt the proposed order permanently closing a portion of Mirror Lake Road.
So moved, sir.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. All right, now we'll go to permanent closing portion of Mitchell Lane. Andrew.
This is a very similar public hearing for a closure of a portion of Mitchell Lane, however, far less impactful. What this is proposing to do is to close two unopened portions of a cul-de-sac that was never built along Mitchell Lane, which provides dead-end access along a little peninsula along Lake Norman. Again, you can see in the map on the final page, it's just two half circles in the cul-de-sac, an undeveloped cul-de-sac area. Again, this comes after a May 18th resolution of intent by this board, certified mailing to affected parties, which in this case was only actually two property owners, and then three legal advertisements over the past month in the Lincoln Times News. Are there any questions on this proposal?
Any questions? Okay. I will open the public hearing concerning proposed order to permanently close a portion of Mitchell Lane. Having no one signed up to speak, I'll declare the public hearing closed. I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go into the public hearing for school expansion finance. Ms. Rios.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, we need to have a public hearing on the proposed second wave of school financings for the expansion of Catawba Springs and I can never remember the other one. Rock Springs. I knew it was another Springs. We received bids from 5 banks. On Friday, we talked to our financial advisors, and we have decided to not accept any of those 5 bids. The lowest bid for an installment financing was 4.03 from Wells Fargo, but it was an indicative rate. We could not lock in until after LGC approval, which would not be until August, and I did not feel comfortable with that. If we're going to wait that long, we have decided we will go with a public sale, which means we will sell at the end of August instead of waiting for a 4.03. Possibly in the beginning of August, we could end up with a rate of about, I think the last rate they said was like 3. There was something, I have it in here somewhere. You're talking $100,000 a year savings in payments and $1.3 million, $1.5 million over the life of the loan. Yeah, they said the rate for a 15-year is about 3.65 all in and 3.9 for a 20-year. So my suggestion is to go with a 20-year public sale, which would be at the end of August after y'all and the LGC do approve the financing. And that is coming from staff. So we just need a public hearing and y'all's approval.
Okay. I will open the public hearing concerning school expansion financing, and we have one person signed up to speak, Gunny Hull.
County Commissioners, Gunny Hull, 319 North Poplar Street, Lincoln. So, number one, I want to advise you of 2 verses, Proverbs 1:7 and verse 9 and 10 says, "It's the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom and understanding, It's not a huge amount of money, and it's not all these schools. There's an article that was put out that says more money doesn't equal better schools. It doesn't fix schools, and there's a state that has proven this fact, and they're ranking, they went 49 in the nation to number 9 by basically proving this point. We have a budget that we're supposed to do and go by for operation, but yet it seems like that word means nothing, even though we're looking at $180.7 million. So we're wanting to borrow more money to do something that's outside the budget, which the biggest part of the budget is schools, or one of them. And so you're just looking, if y'all individually had the debt and it would fall back on y'all, then I have no problem with it. But you're putting the debt on the Lincoln County taxpayers. And so with the infrastructure of all these things that we're not providing, when the nation was founded on a one schoolroom, and it was for making sure that children understood the basic things of reading, writing, arithmetic. The Constitution and our history of where we come from, basically for the biggest part, was England and all the things that we had going against us there. But today we teach, and it's a proven fact of what teachers are taught and instructed, that it's about murdering babies, about transgenderism, it's about sodomy, it's about abortion, and things that are destructive to our nation, because we are becoming the enemy, or allowing our enemy to be Jehovah. And because Yahweh will not tolerate a nation that goes against him, it goes against what he's infrastructure and set up of nature in itself. And so we're not getting better students coming out of the school. No, where sports was used to be one time was just the entertainment of exercise and everything else. We made it a god in our schools, where here at Lincoln High School, we can't even use the ball field anymore for fireworks or anything else that used to go on there that was very vitally important. We can't even have, just recently, we couldn't have a school graduation because of hate that's in the school in Lincoln County. And we don't have prayers anymore. We don't have pastors that's teaching a lesson to the students as they go out into the workforce. So we're changing the whole dynamic of schools and thinking we can do it while throwing more money at the system, and it is not working. Thank you.
Thank you. Having no one else signed up to speak, I will close the public hearing. And I'll entertain a motion to adopt the school expansion financing as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. All right, now we'll move on to the planning board recommendations and final decisions. Jeremiah.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Before I begin, one matter of information. We had zoning map amendment number 761 on the agenda for a final decision this morning. The applicant, Big A Ranch LLC, has elected to withdraw that application, so there won't be any need for any action on that item this morning. For these other requests, the public hearings for these were held on June 1st, 2 weeks ago. The planning board deliberated and voted on their recommendations, which I'll present to you now. The first of which, request plan development number 2018-3-A3. This was the latest request from Bloom Incorporated to expand their campus located on Old Plank Road. This is a request to amend the master plan for that plan development industrial district for a 66,500 square foot office and showroom expansion. The master plan, amended master plan also included reconfiguring the existing parking lot and relocating the driveway on Old Plank Road. You have the planning board's adopted statement in your packet. They voted unanimously to recommend approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Any questions for Jeremiah? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve PD 2018-3-A3 Bloom.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you, Jeremiah. CZ 2026-2 Walmart.
In this case, Walmart Incorporated, being the applicant, was requesting to amend the conditional zoning plan for an existing retail center to use a portion of the existing parking lot, an approximately 30 by 128-foot area, for the loading, takeoff, landing, and storage of drones to provide order delivery services. The planning board recommended 6-2. Recommended approval on this request, and you have their adopted statement in your packet. During their planning board's deliberation, there were several questions that were posed by one of the speakers during the public hearing. The planning board entertained more clarity on those items. The applicant provided responses, could not commit to some of the requests from those opposed to it at the public hearing. But there was discussion about those questions that the board heard during the public hearing, and the planning board then subsequently deliberated. And so you have their adopted statement in your packet. They did vote 6-2 to recommend approval of this request.
Okay, any questions for Jeremiah? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
Mr. Chairman, I spent a lot of time looking at this and going out there and viewing the one over in Kannapolis and talked to the folks in Texas who actually watched this, and then I contacted Atrium about their helicopters, and I'm comfortable that we're not going to have any issues with this, and I'm going to move to accept.
So you will make the motion?
Yes,
Okay.
to accept.
Motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. 3-1, Lineberger in the no. All right, entertain a motion to approve CZ 2026-2 Walmart.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. 3-1, Lineberger in the no. All right, so it is approved. So we'll move on to CZ 2026-3.
The applicant in this case, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority, was requesting the rezoning of 7.8 acres from an existing conditional zoning district that was approved back in the early 2000s to conditional zoning general business for a medical office complex that includes a freestanding emergency department, a helicopter pad, and an office building for either medical, professional, or general offices. The applicant also requested a 5-year vesting period for this phase plan. The planning board voted unanimously to recommend approval of this request, and you have their adopted statement.
All right, any questions for Jeremiah? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve CZ 2026-3.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you. CZ 2026-4.
The applicant in this case, DLM Cells Incorporated, was requesting the rezoning of a 17.1 acre portion of a parcel from conditional zoning neighborhood business to conditional zoning industrial general. They wish to operate a canvas awnings manufacturing facility on this site. The remainder of this parcel, there is a companion case from the current property owner that we'll hear next to rezone the remainder of this parcel. So the applicant provided their proposed site plan showing the portion of the site that they're proposing to develop and use the existing 87,000 plus square foot manufacturing building that's been there since prior to the adoption of zoning. The church that currently owns the property had repurposed that building for their own ministry purposes. They now desire to sell that to the applicant who's requesting this rezoning. The planning board voted to unanimously to recommend approval of this request, and you have their adopted statement in your packet.
Okay. Any questions for Jeremiah? I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented.
I make a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve CZ 2026-4.
I make a motion to approve CZ 2026-4 BLM sales. Applicant is as recommended by the planning board.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Now we'll move on to ZMA 782.
So for the same property we were just discussing, this is a request to rezone the remaining 10.1 acres from conditional zoning neighborhood business and industrial general to general business. Again, this was part of a 59-acre conditional zoning district that was approved in 2011, subsequently amended in 2020 for the church's master plan for their campus. They now desire to sell the rear 17 acres to the aforementioned applicant in the previous case, and then this is the remainder of the property they're wishing to rezone to general business. You have the planning board's adopted statement in your packet. They voted unanimously to recommend approval.
Okay. Any questions for Jeremiah? I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
Make a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, entertain a motion to approve ZMA 782.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Moving on to ZMA 783.
The applicant in this case, Tidemark Land Services Incorporated, was requesting the rezoning of a 1.49 acre portion of a parcel from residential single family to general business. This parcel previously had some residential structures on it which have been removed. The applicant indicated their intent to develop it for a professional office, and that's why they're requesting this rezoning. They do intend on subdividing the property in order to divide this general business portion from the remaining residential portion, which still has a residential structure on it. The planning board voted unanimously to recommend approval, and you have their adopted statement.
Okay. Any additional questions for Jeremiah? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve ZMA 783.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. ZMA 784.
The applicant in this case, SCI North Carolina Funeral Services LLC, is requesting the rezoning of 3.73 acres. This is comprised of two parcels, one of which is currently zoned conditional zoning industrial general. That was for an equipment rental sales business that was never developed on the site. And then the other parcel is zoned neighborhood business. And so they're requesting the rezoning of both of these parcels to general business. The planning board voted unanimously to recommend approval of this request, and you have their adopted statement.
Okay. Any questions for Jeremiah? I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
Make a motion to adopt the statement of reasonable consistency presented by the planning board.
Motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. entertain a motion to approve ZMA 784.
Make a motion to approve ZMA 784.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. ZMA 785.
All right, the last rezoning case I have for you is Four Seasons Marine Supply Incorporated was applying to request the rezoning of a 0.82 acre parcel from neighborhood business to general business. The stated purpose is they wish to perform vehicle sales in addition to the retail use that they have there on the property now. There is a special use permit request, which we'll get to in a few moments, for that vehicle sales proposal, along with their proposed site plan with that. The planning board voted unanimously to recommend approval of this request, and you have their adopted statement.
Any questions for Jeremiah?
Only one I'd like to say something, if you don't
Okay,
mind.
go ahead.
So, is Lindy here? Oh, there you are. Let's not be sneaky anymore on the weekends with signs and extra boats, please. Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented by the planning board.
So moved, sir.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve ZMA 785.
So moved, sir.
Motion by Commissioner Cecina.
So moved. I'm sorry.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is approved.
All right, the second half of the request that I have for you this morning, these are the evidentiary hearings that were held for the same property on 3 of the rezoning requests we just discussed. The first of which is special use permit number 534, SCI North Carolina Funeral Services LLC being the applicant. This was a request for a special use permit to develop the site for a funeral home in the Eastern Lincoln Development District. The applicant has included their proposed findings of fact along with their application and their proposed site plan. They do anticipate needing a high-density option, watershed special use permit, since this is in the critical area of the Lake Norman water supply watershed. And so they do anticipate being back before this board for a public hearing for that purpose in the near future. And they've shown that conceptual design for post-construction stormwater measure on their proposed site plan. They've labeled it as a proposed sand filter on the northern part of the site there. You have the applicant's proposed findings of fact in your packet, as I mentioned, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Any additional questions for Jeremiah? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the findings of fact as submitted by the applicant.
So moved.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve SUP 534.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is approved. SUP 535.
The applicant in this case, Four Seasons Marine Supply Incorporated, being the same applicant from the rezoning case from a few moments ago, this is a request for vehicle sales in the Eastern Lincoln Development District overlay, which requires a special use permit. You have the applicant's proposed site plan included. That was displayed during the public hearing. They're desiring to use one existing parking space in the existing parking lot, designating only that one space for the display of one boat. And because of the impervious limitations on this site, which has already been developed under a high-density option permit with an installed post-construction stormwater measure, the applicant didn't have any availability to add any additional display areas. And so they're designating that one parking space for the display of one boat. That would be a condition of approval if the board approves this request. You have the applicant's proposed findings of fact in your packet, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
He still doesn't have to do anything with the fencing and all that other stuff that sometimes we require people to do. Just, this is all about the boat, right?
Correct. Our staff made an interpretation based on the location of that one parking space being adjacent to the building facade and not out at the road, that an ornamental fence would not be required along the road frontage.
Good. It would look silly if we just put it halfway, if you just put it halfway down and didn't go all the way to Amy's closet, and that would be an additional expense that he didn't need to deal with. So I'll make the motion to approve finding of fact as submitted by the applicant.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Cena. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve SUP 535.
I make a motion to, approve SUP 535, Four Seasons Marine Supply, applicant based on the findings of fact.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. It is approved. Thank you. All right. WSSUP 41, Bloom.
The final request I have for you this morning, this is a companion case to the plan development amendment request for the Bloom Incorporated campus. This is a request to amend their special use permit for their 1070 option permit in the Mountain Island Lake Water Supply watershed. You have the site plan that shows the relocated driveway, the showroom expansion that's proposed, and the parking lot reconfiguration. You have the applicant's proposed findings of fact in your packet as well, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Any questions for Jeremiah? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the findings of fact as submitted by the applicant.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve WSSUP 41.
Make a motion to approve WSSUP 41 for Bloom.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Jeremiah. All right, next we'll do the update, current activities and pending incentive agreements for recruitment and activities in existing industries. Cliff,
Good morning, Commissioners.
good morning.
I appreciate this opportunity. Sure I got this. I'm trying to use the clicker here. All right. There we go. All right, we're working today. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you. I want to give you all an update on what we're doing with our existing industry and our recruiting activities at LEDA. Currently this year, $2.39 million in Lincoln County incentive grant payments are being made, and I'll give you each a list of those here in a moment. We're enjoying a very strong supply of market-ready available buildings, that being what we're seeing at Lincoln Commerce Center is helping us a lot, and also in other private buildings across the county. Having that true market-ready advantage is paying off as the market is starting to increase with new looks. Currently have 1.9 million square feet of available industrial space in Lincoln County that we're trying to fill, and 8 different sites that combine about 795 acres. The 994,000 square feet of future product will be coming to Lincoln Commerce Center in their phase 2 over on the east side. That's the backside of what is now what's known as Airlie Business Park, which will stay Airlie. But Lincoln Commerce Center East will begin construction likely next year over there and be right at another 1 million square feet. From a long-term standpoint, Riverbend Industrial Park, with that potential 2.5 million square feet, positions our county greatly for long-term growth. And we're anticipating the first building there starting later this year. Had a great visit with Childress Klein a few weeks ago. That first building will be approximately 337,000 square feet. It'll be a very nice Class A concrete tilt-up, adding to your goals of adding more industrial square footage in Lincoln County. Our existing industries continue to invest in Lincoln County. That amount of incentive payments is exactly $2,387,777 being paid out this year. Our new and pending projects include Cattler, Bloom, which we just heard about. G&EM continue to grow and invest in their 500,000 square feet new facility. Active Concepts is occupying an additional 80,000 square foot facility here in Lincolnton. Lee Boy continue to grow. High-Tech Technologies and Lincoln County Fabricators. We do have 3 more expansions that LEDA is assisting with. One of those will be coming before you soon. We got their incentive grant application in Friday and excited about that one. That's a new one you'll be hearing about here likely in July, if not August. These investments support facility expansions, equipment modernization, additional equipment lines, and job creation and retention. And this demonstrates the continued belief that our industries have that Lincoln County was the right decision for them, that their investment here is not only safe and profitable, but it's where they need to be for the long term for the growth of their private company. This is a picture of our Industrial Managers Association. We meet with them at least 9 times a year, and a lot of what these plant leaders want and need is what drives our activities. Had a great meeting last month at the Killian Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant. Some of the county staff that's here today was actually there and helped us walk through the plant. They absolutely love the fact that you gentlemen continue to make the right decisions to grow this county, to not only grow, but grow it smartly, and reinforce the fact that they're already here, that they have the right capacities to be here and to thrive. And they really had a lot of questions, had strong participation. And after that, we toured Huber Technology. Lincoln County is Huber's U.S. headquarters. They're our side of the globe. Several of the county team members also got to go to that as well. Huber moved here in 2019. They manufacture wastewater handling equipment. This goes all over the United States, but it's made right here in Lincoln County. So had a great day there with them. And our new industry recruitment activity, after a slowdown of new prospect inquiries over the last probably year and a half or so, we're seeing activity is greatly increasing. This last fiscal year, ending into this month, we had 29 new RFIs that we submitted on. We received much more requests than that, but the 29 were those that would be proper for Lincoln County. They'd be good residents here. They would fit our topography, they'd fit our people, and they'd be a way to move up with our wages and take advantage of the educational and workforce initiatives that we've undertaken here in Lincoln County. Of those 29, we've had a good number of visits from that, had one actually just last Monday. And having a robust lineup of available market-ready product is what's giving us the strong advantage to play in this arena and have them come and inquire. Of course, geopolitical forces continue to dampen this activity. However, good news about here over the weekend, as you've all heard, about the war with Iran should hopefully help with that optimism. And we continue to get feedback from our prospects at our local workforce pipeline initiatives between LEDA, Lincoln County Schools, Charter School, and Gaston College is very positive and reinforcing of the effort. Big event that we're helping with other counties in the region coming up. This was going to be next month. Actually, we all met Friday and decided to move this to September, working through our regional group, Charlotte Business Alliance. It's called the Connected ED. We're bringing in consultants from the not only the Charlotte area, but Greenville and Atlanta that help us in site site development and site location. And I have 3 days with them to really see the assets of our region, to be able to have one-on-one time with them. We have great relationships with these people already, but having that extra time for them to really see what's happening in Lincoln County and us to talk to them about the market, those relationships are key. So we're partnering with other 15 counties to do that. We've now moved that to early in September. This is Lincoln Commerce Center West. This is what's on the immediate west side of New 16 across from Air Lee. LEDA was able to fill Building 1. That's with your all's assistance. That's G&EM. Building number 3 is Wanzel. It's pronounced Wanzel, actually, German company. Lincoln County is their U.S. headquarters now, and that's where they moved into their new headquarters about 18 months ago. Building number 2, we are marketing. This building, I'm proud to say, is a finalist for an industry looking at North Carolina. And that building has got a great attention to detail. This is the outside of that building. It shows very well. Another good example of how private developers and private industry partners want to be in Lincoln County in the proper locations, this being one with limited access to it that keeps that traffic on that one road. And very happy to have that building totally privately built, available for us to market in Lincoln County. Another building seeing some traction. This is 321 by Crescent Properties, 174,000 square feet. This is the first building on the left in the Lincoln County Industrial Park, and this building had a good showing. In fact, last Monday is what I mentioned earlier that we showed. Very important, the attention to detail many of these buildings have. This is the inside of that building. It is truly market ready. You know, back in the day, when we built spec buildings, oftentimes with public money in them, they had a dirt floor. We had to save money every way we could. There's nothing left in this building to do, or the other one I showed you in Lincoln Commerce Center, but move in. If people want to change it, they want to add to it, the property owners and developers are amenable to that. They want more offices, if they need more docks, all that can be added. But this is what that building looks like. It's very attractive, and it's getting those looks that are so important. Another one we've got on the market, 3099 Finger Mill Road, formerly had American Tire in it. American Tire is still out there, but they did not need this warehouse, so they did not renew their lease. But another one that we've got on the market to show off Lincoln County. Again, I want to thank everybody for y'all's continued support and all the things that y'all do to support us, to help us grow our local economy. And I want to always thank our county departments that help us. I mentioned the wastewater treatment plant tour. Every time we get these RFIs that come in, there's usually a key piece of that. We have to talk about utilities, planning, zoning, and they're always right on the spot to help us and help us put our best foot forward. With that, Mr. Chair, if you'll allow, I will approach the board and give you each a roster of the total current number and individual incentive grants.
Okay.
Have that. The ones in yellow are the ones that are still qualifying. You'll notice some of those, it always says, what payment, like payment 3 of 5 or 5 of 5. If the next payment's their next payment.
Thank
If
you.
it's the last payment, like 5 of 5, 7 of 7, 8 of 8, that's their last one, which means that after those grants are paid out, they will pay the full amount of taxation associated with the expansion or that relocation. That said, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Was Charlotte Awning able to get any kind of a tax incentive? Charlotte Awning,
Yes, they should qualify.
okay.
We discussed that once we see their, the final numbers, what that equipment would be, and then whatever they'll be improving the real estate from the amount of value before they made the improvements to afterwards, then that dollar for dollar, the same way all these incentives are figured, would apply.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Any additional questions for Cliff? All right, I think you're next up on the
Okay.
list as well. Go ahead, Ms. Gilbert, to this one.
Yep. So Commissioners, this is a updated industrial development incentive grant policy. This has not been updated for many years. I think 2021 or 2020 may have been the
Yeah.
last time it was updated.
21.
This was updated just to kind of clean up everything, make it a little easier to follow. The last one had factors that in it that were based on that current tax rate, and that just made it confusing. So I took that out and I put in, 65% reduction in taxes, 75% reduction in taxes, instead of having the actual calculation number based on the tax rate that was in effect at that time. Other than that, we cleaned up the resolution and the grant agreement to make it more, just push and play. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any commissioner have any questions? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the Lincoln County Industrial Development Incentive Grant Program for new and existing industries.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. All right, now we'll go to item number 10, Lincoln County Soil and Water Conservation Easement Incentive Updates. Evan and George.
Stuff's jangling all the way up here. I apologize.
You're good.
So, good morning, and thank you so much for letting us come be able to talk to you today. My name is Evan Crawley, and I am the Director of Lincoln County Soil and Water. And our board had asked us today if we can come by and talk to you about our conservation easement program and give you an update on what we do. If you're ready, can I just click? All right. So, wait, go back one more. Soil and water one. There we go. Oh, gotcha. It's all good. All right. So, again, for our conservation easement programs, just to give you an overview of what we do first, is our technical assistance with our landowners and our farmers. It's something that we do for free. We can go out to your property. We can look at it, help you out. Also, with our conservation programs from the NCDA, they give us money to put towards farms, things that we always have done, and also our environmental education. But there's this thing called conservation easements, and it's through the federal and state monies that they give us a grant to be able to do this stuff. So what it is, a lot of people don't know, it's a legal right over the land. Usually we see it in the form of utility right-of-ways and commons. A lot of times you're seeing these out on your front yard if you have any kind of overhead power lines or anything like that. But also, too, in this one specifically, a conservation easement, what it does is it specifically removes the development rights of your property so that you cannot develop it anymore. And what that does is it pretty much makes it a farm forever. And whenever it makes it a farm forever, you're allowed to farm it permanently. You still have the timber rights, you still have the mineral rights, you still have the water rights. You have all the rights aside from being able to develop the land. I mean, you can still change some of your farming practices. You can also put a homestead on it if you want to, if you plant it beforehand. But the property also can be sold, which a lot of people don't know. It's not something that just has to keep on going through your family. You can sell it literally the day after if you want to, once you put in an easement. But usually for us, it takes, somewhere from 4 to 7 years. Right now, I'm working on one that's been 7 years long. It is a long, long process. It can take forever and a half. But you can see there's usually a 16-step process. It takes us a long time, a lot of paperwork as you go through it. But the two that we have, the first one is for Tommy Hauser. He has 118. This one is already done, is already in place. I think it was in like 2000 or 2021, somewhere in that range. The one that we are currently working on right now is the William Andrews Conservation Plan. And that is 182, I think, right now with the survey and how it looks. This is the one that we are trying to get finished up. But whenever we go and talk to our landowners, they come in and talk to us, what we usually do is they ask us, well, how much is this going to cost me? And the thing is that it's going to cost them a little bit up front if they're wanting to do these conservation programs. We're not going to pay for everything. Lincoln County, I mean, if you're wanting to be in it, you're going to have to put in a little bit of money yourself to be able to do these things. Whether it's the endowment, the survey, the appraisal, the legal fees, closing costs, it's usually $15,000 to $40,000 for a landowner to be able to do these things. However, on the back end, you're getting a lot of money for the development rights because the state and the federal government will give you that money to pay for those things and to be able to pull that block out of your property. And the reason why we're doing this is that in 2026, North Carolina was named the first in farmland loss in the nation. I mean, that's just where we are right now. It used to be Texas, but now it's North Carolina. And we're actually seeing it. If you drive from Vail or the West End and go all the way to Denver, you're going to see it. I mean, it's just part of it. And it's a part of how it is because we're so close to Charlotte, And if you can see on this map right here with the projected farm loss, this is from 2016 all the way to 2040. Is that the metro areas, the gray areas, those are pretty much, there's nothing really left for them to be able to take. There's not a whole lot of farmland left. They've already really grown out. And you can see where Lincoln County is one of the number one over to the left hand. I mean, Gaston's kind of already gone. You've also got, Cabarrus, the surrounding little counties over there that are slowly, they're either trying to figure out what to do with it or, things like that. But we are number one for that. And I think the reason why, if we go to Charlotte and we ask those people, like, well, why, because we've talked to them, they said, we really want to come to Vail, North Carolina. The reason why is because they are technically in the background of Charlotte, but also they still have all the open space and all the farming and all the extra stuff. So you get the one with the other, and that's the reason why people move to Lincoln County. You have both, and it's that thing that we're trying to preserve to be able to keep that forever, pretty much, and be able to have farming in the future in Lincoln County. But also, too, if you look at our response to the threat, we're not doing too well, and that's the entire nation. We're just not doing a really good job at it. But as of right now, our score is a medium score on being able to actually address these problems. But there are paths and ways to be able to get these things fixed and to be able to look at those. So. Another thing that the state has done is there have been like 20 different counties that have done a cost of community services study, and what those show are the land use types compared to what it's actually costing the county. So usually for residential or new subdivision, things like that, if they're bringing in $1, we're having to spend $1.09. Whereas for commercial and agriculture, it's a whole lot less. You're either looking at 8 or 24 cents. We're using the Wake study because it's a really good benchmark for us to be able to see what's actually going on. And the reason why for all that stuff is because you're having to put in new roads, or you're having to put in new public utilities, or you're having to expand the sheriff's department and EMS and everything else. And anything that comes along with expansion and have to be able to help those people, you're having to pay for. Whereas farming's pretty much there. I mean, you're not having to do a whole lot with it, and that's a part of it. But as a statewide average, usually for agricultural uses, you're looking at 53 cents for every dollar of revenue, which is the same as $1.90 in return for a dollar spent in farming. So there are also no documented exceptions in North Carolina, and agriculture is always a net physical asset. So again, this supports our agricultural financial needs. It benefits our county in the long term. It helps beginning farmers, especially whenever you take out that chunk. It reduces the price of farms. Instead of them having to pay millions of dollars for, 50 or 100 acres, you can really reduce the price and let somebody come in and buy that for an affordable, turnaround, be able to use that farm for them. But also, too, it preserves farmland permanently. And lastly, if we are trying to aid in land use planning objectives, especially the blueprint of 2043, is that if we're wanting to meet objective 4.2 and 5.4, I think this is one of the best ways that we can do that, to be able to preserve those farming lands and have that. But I'm going to actually let Mr. George Sain come up. He is one of our supervisors. He wants to give kind of a farming view and give you more information about it from a farming perspective. Let's come on up.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, appreciate you having me here today. My name is George Sain, and I'm an elected supervisor of the Lincoln County Soil and Water. And the reason I got in this is I want it to be a helper instead of an enforcer. And if you realize, if you've ever been on a committee or in a job, it's a lot more fun helping people than it is being an enforcer. And I'm a sixth-generation farmer. I live right in the heart of Cat Square. I've been a developer. I'm an accountant here in Lincoln, and I live on my dad's farm out in Cat Square. I've doubled what my dad had. My dad was a World War II veteran. He was came back and fulfilled his dream and bought out his brothers and sisters and started a farm in Vail, and just kind of instilled that in me, and that's what I wanted for my son. But he always had a saying that about land, and he said, one day, son, one day. And I didn't quite know what he meant then, but I do now, because one day is here. And what he meant is one day this is going to be extremely valuable. I know my dad, I listened to his stories, I remember them. He always told me, he said, when I was a young man, I came back from the war, he said I could buy every farm from here to Lincoln for $250 an acre. As many as I wanted to buy, I could buy them. When I got started, I bought my first farm, $500 an acre, $500 an acre. I bought the last expansion to my farm, probably will be the last, before COVID. I give $7,000 an acre. I had I'll call him a suit and tie guy, roll up a few weeks ago to my farm, to my office. I've got an office in Lincoln. And they came in and they'd sent me letters and they'd called me on the phone, and I trashed the letters a lot of times, or I hang up on the phone, and they were serious. And they said that's why they came to see me. But they offered me $50,000 an acre for my farm, $50,000 an acre. So that is, for a farmer, I've been burnt out, I've been flooded out, I've been droughted out, froze out. It's a big risk. I mean, it's a lucrative business. Farming is, you can make a ton of money overnight, or you can go broke overnight. And those kind of offers on real estate are hard to turn down. And the guy told me, he said, we're out here trying to get ahead of the ball, ahead of the game, because East Lincoln is filling up, and it's starting to overflow into West Lincoln. And if we can get out here and buy these places ahead of the game, then there'll be less competition. This soil and water game, or the whatever it's called, the preservation program that they have is your last line of defense for citizens in Lincoln County. I mean, I see all these developments that are going up and all these people get riled up in the community and, you know, they want to legislate ways to stop development. Well, I went to Appalachian, I graduated from West Lincoln, and, you know, I'm a little slow, but I know there's no way that you can stop development. It's not going to happen, especially at that price. It's too tempting. But you can slow it down, and you can preserve some areas. I've got a distant cousin. He's way over here on the left end of the political scheme, and I'm way over here on the right, and we probably never agree on anything. And when I got this job as a soil and water guy, he told me, we had a little conversation about it, and he said, George, he said, what do you want out of your position if you get elected? And I said, I'd like to save a few trees and just a few patches of open ground for my son. That's what I'd like to do. And he said, man, I agree with you. He said, I'd like to see that too. That's the only thing we've ever agreed on in our life, is we'd like to see a little bit of Lincoln County left the way it is. I'm not trying to force anybody to do it, but there's some farmers out here that love the land. They've bought it, they've nurtured it, they've cleared it, and they would like to leave it the way it is. And the way they want to do that is they want to sell the development rights. And to make this in layman's term, what Evan said is they come out, they do an appraisal, and they're going to pay you market price or appraisal price for your farm minus what the agricultural use is, which is not a lot. And so then once you can designate some home sites and some barn sites and that thing, but basically your farm is going to stay the way it is today. It has to be farm. Now there's some other groups called like Foothills and the Catawba Land Conservancy. They're in the same business, except they're just preserving land, basically. They're not preserving farms. And but what we're doing is we are saving your farm forever. It can never be developed. It can never be changed. And we realize that development is coming, but so many counties around us and surrounding are, in hindsight, wish they had got ahead of the 8 ball and would have done what we're asking you to do, is push our program, support our program. And we're not asking to impose any tax, the cost of the citizens of Lincoln County, anything to do this. One of our ideas is when a farmer sells his land to a developer, he is taxed 3 years back at full market value. So he has to pay the full tax for the previous 3 years if he sells. One idea is those tax dollars that you put in the general fund, is if you would allocate those to the soil and water to help pay farmers fees to get in this conservation reserve program. If you would do that, it would be a huge help. And probably, like I said, this is the only line of defense you've got if all these people in the community are wanting to slow development and leave Lincoln County a little bit like it was, then we're the only line of defense. We're it. I mean, that I've thought all, I've been in, Mr. Patton, he remembers me, and Mark Mullen knows me, and Trent, if he was here. I've been involved lightly in politics for a long time, and over the years, I was here when zoning started. Big, huge mess. But this is the time. I mean, this is the time to allocate some funds. Like Evan said, development is not cash flow positive. In other words, if you're bringing development besides industrial, if you're bringing residential development, it's costing taxpayers money, in my opinion, between the roads, the police, the EMT, the schools, mainly the schools, I mean, you're losing money. But if you preserve these farms, you're gaining. Plus, you're gaining some open space. So that's all I'm here to say. I appreciate you guys. I wouldn't have your job for nothing. You don't get paid enough. There ain't no way, because but I appreciate your service. I also had a little, like Evan said, I know my time's run out, but they also do some education in the schools, which is real important. And it's having a big impact on children that their families have been in Lincoln County all their life, because my daughter is 12 years old and she notices the change in Lincoln County. Just in her short little life, my wife is a school teacher at West Lincoln, and every day she drives my daughter and my son to school, and they see impact every few weeks going on Cat Square Road down to West Lincoln of the development that is happening. So I printed out every year the kids in Lincoln County do a soil and water essay. And I just wanted to give you my daughters. Now it take you 2 minutes to read this. You throw it in the trash when you get done. But I printed enough for every commissioner. And she hits at the heart of it, how important it is to have some open space. And, and I'm not a tree hugger, man. I mean, I'm a part-time developer. I like to make money like everybody else. And all these offers on land it's tempting. And it gets more tempting every day. But this is a way for somebody that doesn't want to sell. They want to see their land preserved for future generations. They want to see it keep staying farming. Then this is a way to get her done at a real small cost, in my opinion. I'm going to give this to whoever to hand out to y'all. But I appreciate your time. Appreciate you. If you got any questions.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Well, so what you're suggesting, and is what he's suggesting about the 3 years of taxes okay?
So by law, when they take it out of land use, they are required to pay the 3 years of back taxes. That's in Chapter 105 of the general statutes. I don't know that we can specifically allocate those. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would restrict that, because it's tax revenue that goes into the general fund. But I can't give a definite answer right now. I would definitely need to look at it. But I don't see anything that would prevent us from creating a type of fund that or a portion of these back taxes go into for helping fund the Soil and Water Conservation District, because we already fund them by state law. Their employees are considered county employees. So I don't know why we couldn't do that, but let me double check and look at the law. But yes, we do collect the rollback taxes is what they call them, for 3 years when they come out of land use.
And that's done in another county, right? Is another county doing that?
There's multiple other ones like Cleveland. They use those rollback funds
Okay.
as like fronting money to be able to put towards grants. To be able to get
Well, it just seems like we've been fighting the losing battle since I've been a commissioner, since 2018. And this seems like a real opportunity to actually win a battle from time to time. And Mr. Sane, you're obviously an anomaly in not wanting to sell. And Carroll has placed his land, I believe, in a conservancy.
Yes.
So that he doesn't, so it stays where it is. And if more folks had the same idea, we wouldn't be up here trying to figure out how not to make everything 5,000 houses on a little tiny block of land. So anything that we can do to keep Lincoln County rural seems like a great idea to me.
Yes, sir.
So if we can figure out what we need to do, Evan, to work through that process, I'm all about it.
I just wanted to state that. I'm not trying to, you're counselor here. I didn't want to attack her anyway. I just wanted to say we didn't come up with this idea. We copied another county. So that's what I was trying to emphasize to her, that we just.
No sense in reinventing the wheel.
No, that's exactly right.
I'm with you.
Cleveland
Can I
County?
approach the? I was gonna.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Anything else?
That's it. All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all. All right, next, resolution to adopt Lincoln County Emergency Operations Plan. Mark Howell.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Mark Howell, Lincoln County Emergency Management Coordinator. I'm here today to present to you the newly updated Lincoln County Emergency Operations Plan for adoption as the foundation for all emergency response and recovery activities in Lincoln County. The plan provides clear and concise guidance for administrators, staff, and departments regarding roles and responsibilities during an emergency, increasing our readiness and resiliency by establishing a comprehensive, risk-based, informed strategy for Lincoln County. The plan presented today outlines the legal authorities, organizational structures, and overarching emergency management policies. Additionally, the plan aligns with federal and state guidelines to ensure seamless integration with state and federal partners when required. We are here to request the Board of Commissioners formally adopt the Lincoln County Emergency Operations Plan with the accompanying resolution, ensuring the county maintains its emergency management readiness, provides the necessary legal protection for responders, and secures access to vital state and federal disaster relief resources when needed. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Mark? I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, next, request to add a facility service worker. Ms. Abernathy.
Good morning, Commissioners. We are requesting one additional facility service worker position for the FY27 budget. This position is necessary to support the increased number of county facilities. As we continue to grow as a county, we have added buildings and we need additional staffing to ensure adequate coverage. The total estimated annual budget impact for this position, including salary and benefits, is $63,121, and we are asking that this position be effective July 1st, 2026.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cecina.
Speak up.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, new ambulance purchase. Nolan Locklear.
Good morning, Commissioners. As in the last one, EMS has requested a new ambulance purchase. We purchased these ambulances through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op that basically guarantees that these are already been pre-bidded out to ensure the best price that we can get. The ambulance itself is at a price of $331,797, and as well as a Stryker power load system for $81,041.31. Cars here as well, if you have any questions about the ambulance and the chassis itself, but it's basically, from what I understand, just like the last ones that were purchased.
Okay, any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the new ambulance purchase with Skylar power load system.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
It is approved. Thank you. All right. Next.
All right. So next we'll run into the airport runway and taxi lighting rehabilitation tentative award. We received 5 bids on March the 3rd, and the lowest responsible bidder being Walker and Whitesides in the amount of $1,567,422. Attached in the packet is a recommendation for award by TB&E, and the reason for this award being tentative is we're still waiting on the notice to proceed from North Carolina Department of Transportation and Division of Aviation. If you have any project-specific questions, there are some representatives from TB&E here today that could probably better explain to you what all the runway lighting and rehabilitation contains. But we have received a grant for $2,318,400 for this project. So
What's the timeline? Yeah.
Excuse me, 215 calendar days.
Okay. And that's to totally redo all the lights at the airport? 'Cause I know that's
Yes,
a big.
sir.
Okay, all right. Any additional questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the runway and taxi light rehabilitation.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved.
Thank you so much.
All right, purchasing and procurement manual. Ms. Gilbert and Ms. Rios.
All right, so this has been a long time coming, but this is a complete rewrite and restructure of the purchasing manual. This is based on the one that was in place, but it has been broken down to make it easier to follow. It also has been updated to put in the new procurement limitations for POs of $2,500. We did add in, we kind of changed a little bit of the bidding around to require informal sealed bids from 30 to 90, micro purchases from 2,500 to 1499, because at one point it was from $1,000 to 1499 was a price quote process, and that became very cumbersome. And under UG, which is Uniform Guidance, which is what we have to follow if we're using any federal funds, it was just easier to put in the micro purchase process for anything from 2,500 to 15,000. Because anytime we're spending money, there could be federal funds somewhere, even if it's state grant funds that may include federal funds. We are just going to follow the process for the federal funds. We also we got dinged on our last audit from NCDOT, so we did have to add in some FTA requirements that are specific for TLC, which is primarily funded by NCDOR and FTA money. But other than that, mostly everything is still the same. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Deanna is now in charge of the purchasing policy since purchasing has moved under the finance department, and Nolan carries a lot of the responsibility under this policy now too. So, any questions?
Anyone have any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchasing and procurement manual.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. All right, change order 02, Riverbend Water and Sewer Extension Project. Jonathan.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm here today to present change order number 2 for the Riverbend project, water and sewer project. This change order is a change order to put back in something that was originally in the project. The developer asked us to take it out of the project. It is a gravity sewer under 16. That its primary use is going to be for the residential portions of the project and development. At the time, they did not have a residential developer looking at that site. They do now, and that is why the developer has desired to put this back in the project. There is no cost to the county to do this. All costs will be borne by the developer in the end per the stated the stated agreement with Gaston County and the developer. So that amount is actually the contractor was kind enough to allow it to be the bid amount of $892,933.15. That will be put back into the contract. There is no significant time delay to put this back in the project. It's just pretty much paperwork since this is state funding as well as developer funded.
Okay.
Do I have any questions on that one?
Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to approve the change order number 2.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. All right, Jonathan, you have the next item as well.
The next item on my list is the tentative notice of award for the Laboratory Road project. This is a project that has been in the works for quite some time. We did get state funding to extend the water main down Laboratory Road for health issues that they were having on Laboratory Road due to arsenic in the water supply. So this will be the notice of award. Once we go to DWI for final approval, we will get that project started. The lowest bidder was Classic City Mechanical. This represents a new contractor for us. We did vet them through multiple sources for their work and their timeliness to deliver this project. That bid amount was $594,894. It is a lower price than our expected cost estimate was. The project itself was funded for $1.428 million. So, do I have any questions on that?
Those folks at Laboratory Mill are going to be really excited about this. They've been pretty unhappy for about 2 years now with bottled water, and they should be really excited about this.
This does represent, we have it as a 6-month construction cycle. We're hoping that we will exceed that 6-month construction cycle very, very handily.
And do they know down at Laboratory Mill that this is coming?
Yes.
Great. No more phone calls and emails.
All right, any additional questions or comments?
Move to accept, sir.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cena to accept. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next, Ms. Gilbert, Mr. Bryant. Item number 18.
All right, so this is a resolution authorizing me to proceed with in personam remedies against homeowners of abandoned structures. So there are 4 properties that have been deemed abandoned by the chief building official, Jeff Westdyke. The 90-day period to bring the properties into compliance or to demolish them and remove them has passed. So by statute, or not statute, by ordinance, it does require that a resolution be passed by this board to allow me to move forward with in personam remedies against the property owners. And that is for 167 Bob Bergen Road, 2628 Southland Trail, 1972 College Lane, and 944 McCree Road. Any questions on those?
Any questions for Ms. Gilbert? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cicina. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it is approved. All right. You got the next one too, Ms. Gilbert.
Okay, so this is a resolution approving the conveyance of the old EMS station to a nonprofit. So this will be a conveyance of the EMS station that is located in front of the Lincoln Charter School Denver campus. This has been not been used for the county for many years. The agreed upon rate is $270,000, so that would be a revenue for the general fund. They are considered a nonprofit by law, and the property, by law, Lincoln Charter is required to have a nonprofit who operates the school. So this is just a matter of statutory requirements to allow for a resolution to approve the conveyance and to also approve Manager Madden to sign the purchase agreement and us to get started with the process. And it's estimated to be about 60-day turnaround. They are going to do a survey. So considering how long those take, it could be 60 days before the transaction does happen. But I've been in contact with their attorney, and they are ready to move forward. So
Seems like it was 200, I know this is a small thing, but it seems like it was 275,000, not 270. Am I way off base here?
I think the value was around 278,000 was what we currently said, and they had made, after they went out there, there was some issues with the building, so they turned around with the offer of 270, so we accepted that for what was needed to be done for some of the
mold?
Well, to look at the structure and be able to do any remediation that was required.
Okay, I'm good with that. I don't want to be picky about $5,000, but.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 difference with that.
Okay, all right.
So the value conclusion on the valuation and appraisal is value conclusion is 270,000. Yeah.
All right, any additional questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Patton. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. All right, next, ordinance to amend Chapter 97 of Lincoln County Ordinance, Parks and Rec. Ms. Gilbert.
So this is a update to the Parks and Rec ordinance that we handled a couple months ago. This was in relation to the presence of weapons and firearms on the property. So I worked with Commissioner Cecina, and we did rewrite Section D to state any weapon that meets the following specifications. That's going to be a folding knife with a blade exceeding 5 inches, a fixed blade knife exceeding 10 inches, rifle, shotgun, BB gun, air gun, spring gun, bow and arrow, unless being transported in carrying case from a vehicle to a boat. So that would apply at our parks that are located next to Lake Norman, or as a weapon that is specifically prohibited by North Carolina law. So it does not mention handguns, so that is on purpose. So they're not restricted, so they are permitted based on the way this is written. So this is for first introduction, and then we will vote for it at the July meeting.
So we just got an email 10 minutes ago, which seems pretty late to me, about bows and arrows and people who are instructing, apparently Burl, one of the fire inspectors, wants,
Marshal.
yeah, he wants to be able to utilize the park for instructional purposes with bows and arrows. Can we do something about that, or do we need to hold off and make an amendment later?
I can add language in that basically says, unless being transported in carrying case from a vehicle to a boat or by a special permit, that he would have to get through the Parks and Rec Department to hold some type of training or do some type of practice.
With archery equipment?
Yeah.
Just only with archery equipment? There you go. All right, thank you.
You're gonna make that
Yeah,
amendment?
and I'll bring it
then
back to the
bring it
next
back to
one
us?
for,
Okay.
is everybody good with that change? Okay.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
All right, next, item 21, approval to accept $33,750. Ms. Sackett.
Good morning. First, I want to say thank you for adding us on short notice, but we just got notified last week about this award. So this is a $33,750 grant to provide programming under the premise of who, what, when, where in history. It's a celebration of colonial life, the American Revolution, and the founding of Lincoln County. We're going to be bringing in reenactors to do programs of the library as well as with the school system. We are partnering with the Cultural Center. This is going to be part of our 250th anniversary celebration to kind of focus on history and to bring it to life to the citizens of Lincoln County. So I just need your approval to accept the award so that we can move forward.
Any questions?
There's only a $3,000 grant.
It's a
$3,750.
$33,750. They require a 10% match because we have a partner. So since the Cultural Center has agreed to be an official partner on this project, it reduced the 25% match.
Great, super. And
Thank you.
I wasn't ignoring you this past weekend. I had a grandson with me. I'll get with you after this meeting.
Any additional questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cena. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is approved.
Thank you.
All right, next is public comments. This is where the citizens are given 3 minutes to address the board and 5 minutes as a group. The group has to be present and identified. And first on the list is Karen Haynes.
Good morning, Board. I come to you today on the proposed Ballard Oaks. My name is Karen Haynes, and I reside at 6092 Ballard Road. I'm here on behalf of several neighbors on Ballard Road who cannot attend the meeting due to work obligations. During the May meeting, several members of the board raised important questions regarding the proposed community wastewater system of the proposed Ballard Oaks development, particularly how the septic dispersal field can be installed, maintained, and repaired within wooded areas while preserving the mature trees and conservation benefits being presented as a key part of the project. Those questions were significant enough to delay a decision, and we believe they deserve clear answers before any vote is taken. The community wastewater system is not a minor detail. It is the infrastructure that makes this level of density possible. The proposed clustering of homes also does not match the established pattern of home lots in the surrounding area, raising additional concerns about whether this development is compatible with the existing area of our neighborhood. Residents who now look onto wooded tree lots would eventually look at 4 homes shoved on an acre with a view of their backyard. Before this project moves forward, we respectfully request that the developer be required to publicly present a comprehensive wastewater governance and management plan that clearly outlines who will own this system, who will maintain it, who repairs, and the future replacement, how it will be funded, what reserve funds will be required, and what happens if the HOA is unable to meet these obligations. We also respectfully request the independent environmental review be completed and made available to both the board and the public before any approval is considered. Residents deserve to understand the potential impacts of groundwater, soil, and the surrounding environment before a decision of this magnitude is made. Finally, this project is presented as a conservation subdivision with approximately 40 homes on his lots as small as 1/4 of an acre, supported by a community wastewater system and with homes clustered in a way that differs from Ballard Road. We believe it's fair to ask whether the proposal truly fulfills the spirit and intent of conservation development and whether this conservation benefits being claimed are meaningful, sustainable, and consistent with the character of our road. Our request is simple. We respectfully urge the board to deny the approval of this project. The proposed cluster community will significantly alter the character of our quiet road by increasing traffic and environmental impacts while diminishing the peaceful character of our road. Many residents have serious concerns about the environmental impact of this development. We ask the board to carefully consider the long-term consequences of this development and place the interests of the current residents first. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, Laurel.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Laurel Slack, and I live at 6199 Ballard Road in Denver. I am here today to urge this board to deny the preliminary plat for the proposed Ballard Oaks subdivision. While the developer sees a 40-lot payout, the citizens of Lincoln County are being asked to accept a ticking financial and environmental time bomb. This proposal relies on a shared community septic system. Let's be entirely clear about what that means once the developer builds these homes and cashes their checks. They walk away. They hand the keys of a massive commercial-grade wastewater system over to a 40-member HOA. A 40-home HOA does not have the expertise, the resources, or the infrastructure to manage a utility system. To stay compliant with North Carolina law, these homeowners will face higher than normal monthly HOA dues just to pay for certified operators and industrial pump electricity. But the real danger is when, not if, this shared system faces a catastrophic failure. If a pump station burns out or the shared drain field clogs, a 40-home neighborhood cannot absorb a $100,000 or greater emergency repair bill. When a HOA goes bankrupt trying to fix a failed community project and sewer system, who pays the price? The homeowners face unlivable conditions, property values in the community plummet, and ultimately, the environmental and financial cleanup lands right back in the lap of Lincoln County. Commissioners, you have rightfully delayed this vote because you recognize the severe risk of this layout. I ask you today to stand up for Lincoln County taxpayers, protect our local environment, and deny the subdivision until the developer brings back a plan with standard, safe infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, James?
Commissioners, nice to see you today. Megan, nice to see you. I'm going to reiterate what my neighbors have just told you. These are my concerns as well as theirs.
If you would state your name and address, please.
Pardon?
If you would state your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. James McCann, 6105 Ballard Road. One of the big concerns I have is the traffic infrastructure is not in place to support the 40 additional houses that are going to be placed with Ballard Oaks or the 500 or so for Iron Gate. So I would ask that you would vote no for both of those. My reasoning is that there's going to be approximately 1,600 more cars thrown on this infrastructure that's already overtaxed, and it's just going to be entirely too much stress for drivers trying to get from Lincoln to Mooresville or Huntersville or to 16 to get on the road to go to Charlotte. That's 2-3 times a day. I see that pretty much all the time. The conservation subdivision idea, I think when they were talking about it, they were talking about saving the environment. I don't really see where that is if you're going to tear down all this wooded area, put in 40 close-knit homes, and then a community sewer septic system. It doesn't make a lot of sense, not to me anyway. As far as the community septic, it's a very interesting concept, but I've got to think the feller that spoke about the septic, he said he had put in several. But when he was talking to you guys, he was not very comfortable or confident in what he was telling you. So that's for me, that's a big red flag. But as the one young lady said, it's not if, it's when. And I would like to point out that this year alone, there's been sewage issues twice this year, once in January, once in February. They were community-owned events, not a government-ran facility event. So I would like to point that out to you. One was on January 15th. That was a grease-related issue, 50 gallons of spillage. The other one was kids playing, got a basketball wedged in the sewage. That was 850-gallon spillage. So just some stuff, I got one running around in my head. I'm sure they've got stuff too. This is all new to me, and I'm sure the next time that I see you guys, I will have more stuff to convey to you. So I do appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Next, Douglas.
Board, thank you for having me. Excuse me for moving so slow. I'm recovering from some major medical issues. The reason for my conversation with you is about traffic. And I know it's not new to you. You can roll your eyes, look at this, all the people here that are concerned. We heard about the problem, the environmental problems. But the traffic problem, my name is Douglas Higgins, and I live at 4583 Highway 73, which is about a football field away from the intersection of Beth Haven and Highway 73. I've lived there for 3 years. I see accidents there monthly. Since the last meeting on May 4th, I believe it was, that I attended, there's been 4 accidents within my view. 2 of them right in front of the proposed entrance to Ballard Oaks. One of them was an airborne Jeep, hit a cul-de-sac and went up in the air. One of them was a county truck that lost control, drove down the length of my property and down the length of the neighbor's property before it hit the cul-de-sac and crashed his vehicle. These were all daylight accidents. There was one last week and one in the morning. I'm not sure what it was about, but there was police all over in front of it. We hear accidents all the time at that intersection. Now, I'm not here to stop progress. I don't think we can do that. But we can mitigate what progress is going to do to the citizens that are already here. Now, these developers that are asking you to make these decisions in their behalf, they're looking to make a lot of money. I was in real estate at one point, property management, dealt with developers. They're in it because they're greedy. We know that. I know you know that. All I'm saying is, if they want in, let's make them pay for it. Highway 73 needs to be 4-laned. Let's press them. Let's get the money out of them. Let's squeeze them to 4-lane the highway so the citizens don't have to pay for it. You will eventually be having to do that. Don't put Band-Aids on this problem. Let's fix it first and then look at letting developers move in. But the traffic problem needs to be fixed first. I'm retired. I sit in my outside looking out on 73. I can see the intersection. I see all the accidents. I also see a historic sign. Catawba Springs Township's an historic designation by the state of North Carolina. Do you give certificates of appropriateness for these developers because they're trying to develop on a historic site? I don't know if you've gone down that road, but you might want to look at it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Next sign up to speak is Cheryl.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Richardson, and I live on 1142 Altman Way. Today I'm here on behalf of the folks that are dealing with the Ballard Road development. They do not believe that it is safe, fundamentally wrong, and it's fundamentally wrong for this location. This project depends on a large, high-volume wastewater system placed in an area where significant portions of the site exhibit shallow water seasonal saturation, and slow draining soils. These are exactly the conditions the EPA on-site wastewater treatment systems manual identifies as high risk for decentralized wastewater systems. Many of the people who live in the area have private wells, and even a temporary failure could contaminate their drinking water. And that's not a risk that they're willing to accept. North Carolina's wastewater regulations state require that soils that can maintain adequate separation from seasonal high water table and reliably disperse effluently. However, field observations and long-term resident reports of standing water, slow drying soils, and persistent saturation indicate that large portions of that site cannot consistently meet these requirements. These are not minor engineering challenges, they are fundamentally hydrological limitations that directly affect system reliability. Secondly, and in my personal opinion, most importantly, this development does not fit the footprint of our community. Every home around Ballard Road sits on 1 acre lots. That's the character, scale, and expectation of this area. Ballard Oaks is trying to squeeze 40 homes onto land that simply cannot support that type of density, environmentally or practically. It is quite literally a square peg being forced into a round hole, and the developer has found a loophole to make it appear compliant. But calling unusable land open space does not make it a conservation development. It makes it a misrepresentation. Third, the wastewater system they're proposing requires constant oversight, a certified operator, long-term funding, and emergency reserves. The NCDEQ warns that systems like this fail when HOAs don't have strong, enforceable financial plans, and that's why we are asking for 2 separate public meetings. A meeting where the developer must present the binding HOA and long-term financial plan, and a second meeting at a later date where you vote after residents had had time to review it. This is not unusual. Other counties in North Carolina have also presented the same have them present the HOA in advance. Finally, development places all the long-term risk on existing residents if the system fails, if the HOA collapses, if the funding runs out. We are the ones who suffer. The wells, the properties, the health, and the values are on the line. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Tiffany?
I'm Tiffany Horn. I live on Maxwell
If you
Farm
could speak into the
Lane.
microphone there, thank you.
I'm Tiffany Horn. I live on Maxwell Farm Lane. On May the 4th, I provided a lot of documentation to you guys regarding the parcel sizes in the area, information on groundwater contamination, plat map showing watershed areas in reference to the proposed septic system and drainage lines, UDO article conservation standards, ordinance section 51.024 regarding sewer systems, and a list of questions regarding the proposed septic system, treatment technology, who's operating it, maintaining it, schedule costs, financial plan for repairs, pump replacements, failure rates, emergency response plans, etc. I also asked about the trees that are controlling the erosion on the terrain. I asked about PFAS. I also asked you to visit the site so you could see the terrain for yourself. This is a forest of mature trees. And did you guys realize that there's also a very rare tree on the property where the home site is called a chestnut oak? If you'll look that up, it is a very rare tree. There's not very many in this area at all. There's a huge one on this property that will be demolished. I'm asking you to do what's best for the residents and vote against Ballard Oaks. Ballard Oaks will cause problems environmentally, and it is not conservation. Please protect our residents, natural resources, minerals, and keep our water supply clean by voting no to Ballard Oaks. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Victor.
My name is Victor Ballard. I live at 6242 Ballard Road at Denver, North Carolina. First off, this is part of my land. My sisters is the one trying to sell part of their property. I've lived on this land my whole life, farmed it and everything. If you go to the creek, there's Nolan Acres. When I was young, they used to do asbestos. When I was young, they dug a hole right across the creek, buried truckloads. I ain't saying it's asbestos. It looked like asbestos, but they dumped truckloads of stuff, buried it. If you go all the way up to 73, there's a house. At that house, right behind it, they used to dump trash. Now that trash goes all the way, is in the grounds and everything, goes all the way to the springs, all in the gullies and all back in the back. About from the first spring, if you go about 10 foot, 12 foot on Nolan Acres, they've always been dumping in that gully. I don't know what all's in there. There's a trucking company that owns it now. And the trucking company, I do know that there's things in there that from the trucking company because there's evidence of it. There's one thing that's called, it's a manufactured ammonia that goes into diesel trucks. There's a jug down there that belongs to that. And it's for diesel trucks. So basically, all down below that, it's already been marked. It's wetlands all down below that, all the gully areas and everything, nothing but wetlands, springs all in there. And all this is washing right down into the waters and into the springs and it's contaminating the grounds. And I think somebody needs to do something about a lot of this before any housing development or anything comes in. And another thing, the sewage system is going to be aiming towards the creek. They want to allow me to raise a couple hogs, but they're going to put a sewage system at the creek. There's something wrong with that picture, in my opinion. I mean, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Mackenzie.
Let me get up here. All right. My name is Mackenzie Cartner, and I'm speaking on behalf of Iron Station, my hometown in which I've lived my whole life. It is a very unique place in the eastern United States in terms of geologic history, not to mention all the historical mining as well. It also has a lot of prehistoric geology, but we can discuss that at a later time period. Today, I would like to express concern about the proposed sewer septic system of Ballard Oaks subdivision. It will ultimately fail. It is only a matter of when. And I can confidently say that in reference to plate tectonics in this area. And based on my prior surveying experience, in reference to the unique geology around here, I can tell you exactly where the water will go, directly to the groundwater table, and I can pinpoint these exact locations remotely on GIS. Now, after hearing Mr. Victor's statement of asbestos and ammonia, contamination in proximity to the subdivision, I would now like to change my script completely. This is very concerning. These are PFAs. They are forever chemicals, and they are above a wetland delineation. The water will go to the groundwater table, and I can show you on GIS the longitude and latitude of where that will occur. There are many wetland delineations surrounding the subdivision and throughout the subdivision. They all feed to each other. They communicate. Call me crazy. Already having potential for a failed sewer septic system, I now have concerns around asbestos and ammonia content contaminating the surrounding wetlands within proximity to Ballard Oaks and ultimately entering the groundwater table. This is a problem. Asbestos and ammonia are very big problems. It would not be fair to the future homeowners to look past potential contamination without confirming that contamination is not a problem. It needs to be confirmed for the community. Like Mr. Victor stated, we don't exactly know the level and intensity of the pollution and contamination in that area. So from an environmental perspective, I'm not sure how you all could confidently vote on that subdivision without having confidence that there is no contamination. So I hope you highly consider my concern here. I'm willing to speak with any of you after this meeting, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, Trevor. Did I say that right?
My name is Treva Mills, and I live in Forest Oaks in Denver. I actually called the FAA about my drone concerns. I was told my county commissioners had the power to stop the drone hub. Walmart would have never asked for rezoning otherwise. They would have built it without your permission. You just said you would like to keep us rural, but then you put drones on top of us. Either Walmart threatened you, bought you, or both, because I can't imagine anyone being stupid enough to put this end of Lincoln County's privacy, safety, and security at risk just so some lazy, self-centered idiot could have a 2.5-pound package delivered to their door. You have made the majority of the people in this county who will never use this service very vulnerable. It's obvious Walmart could care less about people, or they would not be placing a drone hub on top of a quiet residential neighborhood. Evidently, you and your planning department failed to take this seriously, or you don't care either. And I actually spoke with Mr. Carpenter, and he already knows what I think of your planning department. I also took Mr. Carpenter's advice, and I spoke with my attorney regarding the concerns I have of a drone hub within 660 feet of my home. He said wait until rezoning was approved, and then it would be easier to hold Lincoln County accountable. Evidently, your county attorney failed to advise you against this insanity. I guarantee you would never have allowed a drone hub in your back door, but you had no problem putting it in mine. It has been disgusting what I have witnessed over the county's handling of this rezoning. Only 16 homes in my neighborhood were notified of the rezoning for a drone hub, meaning we will be the most effective. And very few people who live within the 6 miles of Walmart have no idea with this hub approval you are allowing delivery drones to fly over their homes too. Why on earth did you even have a public hearing? When Walmart puts out a press release on WBT at 4 p.m. only hours before the public hearing that drone deliveries are coming to Denver, then at that point everyone knew the rezoning had already been approved. At the public hearing, Ms. Doster from Walmart then comments on the good meetings they had. Atrium is right on cue, announcing they could work with Walmart and share airspace. Combs says the planning department recommends approval for rezoning, and you commissioners asked very few questions of Walmart after the presentation. At this point, you haven't even heard public concerns yet. That's because the decision had already been made, and all you did was waste our time. Afterwards, at the planning board meeting, a member asked if they could go home as soon as they convened. How insulting. Then 2 days later, Mr. Carpenter pretty much confirmed it all. Does Walmart run this county or you? You may trust Walmart and Wing, but I don't. This is a prime example of how corrupt the entire Lincoln County government is becoming, from the county attorney, the county manager, commissioners, and planning department on down. This county has lost all respect for you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have sign up to speak, Gunny Hall.
County Commissioners, Gunny Hole, 319 North Poplar Street in Lincoln, North Carolina. Just want to say one thing that y'all to consider, and that says, are you holy? The scripture says if you're not holy, you're going to hell. The thing that's been brought up just earlier too, want to know what's in your mind. The Bible says that without a vision, the people perish. What is your vision of progress? What do you think is best for us? I went to school and there was students that had rifles or shotguns in their behind the seat. Today we have one officer in every single school. At the direction we're going to be 2 or 3 officers in every school, and still we're going to have issues and problems because you're not willing to change the direction we're going. You had $15 million for a cat and dog house, but you didn't have $26 million in the budget for schools. So what is the spending budget per child? Florida has no state income tax, and they're cutting their property tax, and yet you keep increasing theirs. I brought up about the flag, and we're supposed to have patriotic people here at our new courthouse, which has never been changed, and yet we spent millions of dollars on our old courthouse, and you got some cheesy flagpoles out there in front of it that is a homeowner's quality, and they're still the same height, all three of them. It just disturbs me as a United States Marine that you disgrace our country here on the 250th anniversary with these flagpoles and not representing our country. How can you, by state law, which is General Statute, Chapter 159 and Article 3, that is required for us to have a balanced budget. So how could you pull from the city $3 million or more, and still you're saying you have a balanced budget and you approved it at the last meeting, and yet you got this $3 million jerked from you and going back to the city because you did an unethical and illegal move? So I think your balanced budget you presented last month is something is missing and airy in that when you got $3 million gone, but you still passed it. And then last meeting on the budget, yet you didn't have anything for the general public to be able to really see on the amount of money this year is going to be. And at $180 million, it takes a lot of time to go through that, which I bet you none of you really went through and looked at it, how to scrub money from this overwhelming budget. So why are we having a bigger sheriff training facility and the city has their own? Why can we not have, since we're all Lincoln County, have one training facility and stop wasting money? What is progress to you?
All right, thank you. Having no one else signed up to speak, I'll now declare the public comments closed, and we'll move on to County Manager's report.
Thank you, Chairman. So first is this news. As Deanna mentioned earlier, on July 1st, the county finance team and myself will meet with our financial advisors, Davenport, to prepare for the debt issuance that you approved earlier for Rock Springs, Catawba Springs Elementary School expansions. The historic courthouse is moving into the last stage of completion for obviously the demo and the outside renovation. The punch list is being addressed now. I would like to, say with some pride, and I hope Commissioner Patton, who serves on the committee we have, can acknowledge it, is the north side, the public sitting and dining area is really looking nice. I mean, the whole site looks nice, but that dining area is really a nice area. The umbrellas are up now and available for the public to utilize that space. We'll have more celebration on that coming forward. In regards to the jail expansion, it's still obviously under construction. We're currently in the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing stage. We did have to approve some pressure reducing valves due to the increased flow pressure of the water line that we did agree to loop in for John Howe Memorial Drive. That was an essential need because that will help us also with addressing fire protection issues for the animal facility. East Lincoln Library is on schedule for a late summer, early fall opening. More to come on that. And we do finally have an erosion control plan approved for the animal service facility, and we're working with DOI right now on some comments on the plans. Last reminder, I'd just like to let the board know that Commissioner Mullen and I will be attending a regional leadership reception in Charlotte this week. And that's all I have for my report.
All right, County Attorney's report.
Just a brief update. I am currently serving on the rapid response team for county attorneys for the state of North Carolina through the NCACC. And right now is the time of the year where all of the bills start to be torn apart and things slid in. There are lots of concerns from the county attorney and the NCACC perspective for some of these bills. Most of them, as you can imagine, have to do with zoning. So some of the things that have been put in as late as last Friday are shot clock requirements. This means that upon planning and inspections, finalizing a application as complete, the county has 90 days to approve it. That means 90 days approval for their department or this board. So that would cut back on some of the possible negotiations, discussions, all that we are currently able to have with developers in large-scale developments. There are also some changes to density requirements. The state law is trying to change where you can no longer have a zoning regulation that says that a minimum lot size is half an acre. It has to be a minimum lot size is based on density. So whether that be 1 house per acre, 2 houses per acre, whatever it may be, we would have to amend the ordinance to match that. Also, within that section, they are talking about making it where the density for an acre would apply regardless of anything else, right-of-ways, floodplains, anything like that. So say a parcel is half an acre, 3/4 of that half an acre are in a floodplain, they can still build on that other little bitty piece. So none of the acre lot sizes would come into play, or none of those things would come into play when looking at the lot size. So I share these as I get them with Andrew and his folks to look through. There are also talks about changing vesting and permit choice to also apply to building code, which would mean a subdivision that was approved in 2013 gets to use the 2013 residential building code forever, regardless of when the houses are built until they are finalized. So this is what the NCACC and our team, and I know there is a strike team of county managers as well, that is what they are fighting right now at the General Assembly. I know there are some other ones that David has been made aware of on his calls with the county managers. So right now, while it may be slow for county work because budget's done, everything's pumping up at the General Assembly, so that is what we're going to be monitoring over the next few weeks and months to see what, if anything, changes. So that is my report. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Any commissioner have anything to report?
I just have a quick question. The flags poles over at the courthouse, are we still waiting on the granite for
Currently our staff is working for the first responder memorial, and that was why this has got extended in the time. And initially the board agreed to adjust the flag height at the new courthouse. But when we had approved the inclusion of the first responder memorial, that design took into play. So we're going to do all the demo at one time, so we wouldn't have to tear something up, go back, tear it up again, and that's part of the reason why this has been extended as far as that. But that is in progress to be corrected as part of this first responder memorial inclusion.
I thought that's where we were, but I wasn't 100% sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Just wanted to mention that the Lake Norman Marine Commission will meet this Thursday, June 18th at 7 at St. Peter's by the Lake, and if all goes well, we'll hire an executive director.
Okay, thank you.
I will second what the manager said concerning the old courthouse. We are getting a lot of good positive comments on it now. It looks really good, and it's come a long way. So, and there's a lot coming, a lot of events coming that we'll announce at a later date, but should be exciting.
All right, thank you. All right, anything else? All right. Now we'll go to vacancies and appointments. Commissioner Mullen will present.
Chairman Lumberger, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following appointments. For the LEDA Board, to reappoint Kelly Atkins for his second term. For the Library Board, to appoint Ann Cecina for the Catawba Springs Township first term. Planning Board, appoint Heather Alton at large, first term. Recreation Committee, reappoint Gary Becker at large, first term. Voluntary Agricultural District Advisory Board, to reappoint Bridget Lutz, second term. For the Board of Health, reappoint Richard Permenter for his third term. And for the Central Iowa Workforce Development Board, to reappoint Panico Pacheco Perez. As a form of motion.
All right, that's in the form of a motion. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself from the Library Board.
So you want to vote on these individually, or you're just?
I'll make a motion that we accept everything except the Library Board, and then I'll
Recuse myself from that,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Everybody understand that motion? All right. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, now we'll vote on the library board appointment as presented by Commissioner Mullen. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, all the appointments are approved. Is there any other business to come before this board at this time? Okay.
Commissioner Weinberger?
Yes, ma'am.
I would request that when you go into closed session, you also do it for Section 3 of 143-31811, 3, to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body. I've got something that just came on my radar that I need to discuss before our month recess, before our next meeting, so.
All right. So I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
All right.
For both those reasons.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Patton. All right. So any further discussion? All in favor of going into closed session?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're in closed session. And then we'll be right back out here in about 15, 20 minutes. So.
Headed for you, Andrew.